We are back in Kisumu actually for the Western Spectrum segment within the Good Morning Kenya show. And this morning we want to talk about something so critical, especially at this moment. That is the voter registration. We've had the enhanced continuous voter registration exercise for the last 27 days or so. An exercise that comes to an end tomorrow. What do the numbers look like? What do the figures look like? And what more do we need to do actually to ensure that we drive up these numbers? And that is conversation I'm going to have here from Kisumu City, rather. My name is Wycliffe Okech, and of course I have guests to help us understand this particular, rather have this conversation going forward. Just immediate to me here is Engineer Frederick ZB Owino. That is, he's a practicing engineer, of course, and he has aspect for politics, and he's a political strategist and analyst joining us this morning for this conversation. And also we have Mr. Bernard Adhiambo Ogua. Is a systems and a data expert, or you can say is an IT consultant. Talking about the numbers, let me just give you a minute actually to say hello to our viewers before we dive deep into this.
Good morning, Kenya. My name, as Wycliffe has said, is Engineer Frederick Owino. I do engineering, I do project management, but also very much interested in politics and what's going on in our country and the figures and the numbers. So then we are here basically to discuss what has happened in the last 27 days and what do you foresee going forward.
Bernard. Thank you very much, Wycliffe. My name is Bernard Adhiambo Ogua. On a personal space, I'm in manufacturing, in the food value chain, but I'm taking keen interest in what is happening in our region, especially in terms of voter and ID registration mobilization. In terms of interest and where build capacity is in terms of systems and data. And we are trying our level best to integrate technology and data analytics into mobilizing numbers, both for ID registration and for voter mobilization.
Right there, we'll get into it. And then to viewers who are catching us this morning, apart from being live on KBC Channel 1, we can also catch this conversation on our sister station that is broadcasting in Dholuo language, that is the Mayenga FM. You can catch that conversation on Mayenga FM digital platforms. Yet, and now just diving right deep into this conversation, gentlemen, you're part of a caucus, you're part of a group of professionals that has come together actually to ensure that the Lakeside Nyanza region is not left behind when we talk about voter registration. Tell us, just briefly, in 1 minute, I'll ask you, Bernard, to tell us, this group, how many members, I mean, who are coming together in this group?
Thank you so much, Wycliffe. What is happening that we have been a group of friends for many years. We have been in friendship that spans over 2 decades. Most of us met in high school. Some of us, again, we cemented the friendship in the university. And we have also expanded the group to like-minded individuals. And we've been doing quite a lot of things quietly within our region, supporting needy students, doing a bit of community work, going for fundraising. But at this particular time, we saw the ID registration last year going on, and we thought as members of this community we can play a role, because from where we sit we appreciate and understand the importance of having the right numbers. Therefore we came together as a team of 21 individuals. We have membership. Some of our members are outside the continent, but they still participate. So we started by mobilizing individual resources to try to participate, to help our people mobilize the IDs. And then the issue of mass voter registration came in about a month ago. And we dived in directly because it found when you already built some momentum. So the team is 21, and out of the 21, 17 are engineers. And we are trying to use their engineering expertise to leverage on it, to integrate technology into voter mobilization.
Yes.
This group, especially when we focused this discussion on voter registration, what milestones have you achieved as a group so far?
What happened is that, as Bernard has explained, we started with the ID registration. because we realize that we have adults in the 4 counties who don't have IDs. And then we are now looking at the numbers because we believe in numbers. So when it started, the momentum in Migori, Mapei, Siaya, and Kisumu was very slow. Actually, if we give you the graph of the statistics, then when now interventions came through the connections with the different organizations, then the numbers, actually the numbers today, if we speak as at yesterday, the numbers are much improved. When we started, all the 4 counties were below the national average. But now all the countries are above the national average. Is that it?
That's true.
Still driving this into numbers, because we want to speak about numbers to know where we lie, or where the region lies within this aspect of voter registration. It's been over around 27 days now, because we know the exercise ends tomorrow. But then the other day, when we had a briefing with the regional commissioner for Nyanza, she mentioned something to do with over 80,000 IDs that are lying idle and collected at various points, and this is derailing this exercise very, big time. What do the numbers look like? Because that was a conversation we had last week.
Thank you very much, Wycliffe, once again. What I want to, before I answer even your question, I want to emphasize something that was missing, is that we were doing a further way of mobilizing our people. What have we brought on board? We have brought on board research. So before we even go out to look for the numbers, we do substantive research to establish where the numbers are. Like for the past, you'll get a road show being done, a road show passing through Kibuye, for example. Here the people in Kibuye already have IDs and voters registration. But what you're bringing on board is preliminary research being done before the exercise. So that when you leave and you're going to Kaboch, you know that specifically this place in Kaboch has this number of people that need to be registered. And that has really helped. So what the regional commissioner said is reality, that we have over 80,000 IDs that are uncollected. So we are working with multi-sectoral approach. We are working with Ngao, we are working with National Bureau of Registration, NRB, and these IDs, the model that we have taken, is that they have been distributed to chiefs and assistant chiefs. Because chiefs and assistant chiefs know the people, they know the homes. And that has really helped us to yield the numbers this week. You realize that the first 21 days before we met, we did 100,000. 21 days. But this week, from Monday to yesterday, additional over 62,000. So even less than a week, 62,000 can be achieved. Over 62,000. And in 21 days, we achieved 100,000. Then it means that the interventions that we're doing, the scientific models, our data-driven models, are bearing more fruits. Like, for example, we realized that the roadshow is not adding value. You just entertain people and play music. At the end of the day, you have only 2 registrations. But when you go through the Ngao system, the sub-chief goes to the villages and brings out people without voters card, without IDs. Then you yield more results. So we are changing the model, and it is achieving great results. But fundamentally, out of our research and data mining, what has significantly surprised us is that we have over 1,270 individuals from 4 counties. 1.2 million. Actually, 1,270,000. Let me just emphasize the number. 1,270,000 adult Luos with IDs and don't have voters card. This is shocking. This is a number that other community will come with to the table to negotiate. Yet we are leaving it out there. So we have established models of mopping up the entire 1.27 million first. And then from our research that we did earlier, before this exercise, and we did scientific research down from the Nyumba Kumi. That research established for us, Wycliffe, that we have close to 800 to 1 million adult Luos, members of Luo communities, who don't have IDs. They are at the age of 18, some are even 30-something, and they don't have IDs. So over and above the 1.27 million with IDs that don't have voters card, we have another about 1 million, Bob. 1 million people. 1 million Luos. You know, I talk a lot of Bob sometimes. Yes. Yes. So we have about 1 million adult members of Luo community who have reached the age of 18 and don't have IDs.
And they just so comfortable.
Yes.
You have to mention something about this.
I want to just talk about what Bernard has said. I want to emphasize some facts about this thing. You know, we're looking at 2022, we're at 2.2 million. Today, we are looking at, if the numbers work well, we'll be at 4.7 million. If you look at the people from the region, the region, and then we're looking at our people out
potential
there. They're in Mombasa, they're in Nairobi, they're in Kiambu. Those garages, our people are there. They're in Kericho, we are picking tea there. So the total number is about 4.7 million. So I mean, if you go to the negotiation table, and like I said the other day, the point is that every community is allowed to negotiate. But when you come to the negotiation table, you must have some facts, and you must have some figures. So it means 2022, we are coming to negotiate with 2.2. If we do what we are doing and succeed, then 2027 we are going to next year, because we are not doing this to support any individual or anything. We are doing this to help our people establish their numbers and be able to sit on the table. So if we succeed in what we are trying to drive, we're talking about 4.7 million people, and that's a big negotiation. In our research, there's always that talk out there that although people don't come out to vote, but if you do research in the entire 4 counties, you tell it. That's
point that is coming up next,
okay,
because first we have we get the IDs,
yes,
register, and then casting that vote is one thing, another thing altogether. We're getting just in there. 1.27 million people have IDs but do not have voters card. Why do you think this is happening?
I think what has basically is about education, civic education. People have not been enlightened on the importance of having that vote. Because as a Kenyan adult, the power you have in terms of complaining or doing anything else is in the ballot. Because I can't say that my MC is not working, my MP is not working, my governor is not working, my senator is not working. When yourself, you're an adult and you don't have the power to vote somebody or remove somebody. Because then once we give these people this power and we are able to explain to the electorate that that power is what will make you determine leadership, then that will become important. And it's civic education, basic civic education.
If you allow me also to chip in that question that Engineer ZBA has really dissected, is that the question of us that why is it that over 1.27 million adult members of low communities have IDs and are not registered as voters. The shocking information out of research you've done, if you filter these numbers and names, is that out of the 1.27 million, 1,017,000 did not take votes to vote in 2022. So they had IDs and they did not register as voters. 1,017,000 out of the total 1.27 that we're talking about. So you can imagine that in the last election, we had very good turnout as a community compared to others. Not the best, 71%, which was above national average. All our counties were above 10%, all the 4 counties.
In the top 10.
Were in the top 10. And you can imagine that a total of 1,018,000 members of these communities who had IDs did not register to vote. Therefore, fundamentally, I think the model that has been used in the past is what has not worked for us. You realize that our politics as a community since 1992 has been a mass movement. And mass movement, it's very beautiful. It builds momentum. It builds euphoria. But it leaves some things that are not achieved. Because mass movement sometimes we lack structures. We lack like what you're doing currently. You can't bring it in a mass movement. Because you end up leaving people without knowing. Because the mass movement, even people who are not having IDs come to support the movement. But we are changing the narrative. We're saying that even as we build momentum, we need to have structures to look at the nitty-gritties of what it takes to be strong at the negotiation table.
Still talking about that aspect of statistics or numbers ahead of 2027, by the time we get there, what do you project will be the total voter registration for the Lakeside Nyanza region? And still on that, this enhanced continuous voter registration exercise, you're mapping, where do you place the numbers so far?
And I'll allow engineer also to come in on this question, because this is a fundamental area of discussion. Is that one, if we look at the numbers and from our extrapolation, and we're talking about people who speak, eat, drink, data and analytics. You throw to them data now and they do for you scientific, verifiable extrapolation. Is that as at last election in 2022, we had about 2.2 million members of these communities from the 4 counties that were registered voters. 2.2 million. We are currently looking at the data that we have of 1.2 million and 70,000 of people with IDs and without voters card. If you add 1.2 million to 2.2, we are sitting at 3.4. Then we have another 1 million members of the Luo community who have hit 18 years of age but do not have IDs. If we mop that and bring it to the table, we hit 4.4 million. Then we are thinking of members of this community who live in Kiambu, for example, people in the Juakali sector. The members of this community are known to be some of the best mechanics, and a lot of them are in Kiambu. They are voters there.
Yes.
We have a lot of them in Kericho who are doing the tea plucking. We have a lot of them in Mombasa. We have members of this community who went to Mombasa 10 years ago and have never come back. So we have a lot of them in Nairobi. So we are looking at mopping the numbers of members of this community who are in other counties, and our target is about 0.3 million. So if you add 0.3 to 4.4 million, it is possible. If we do concerted effort, members of the political class, community leaders, teachers are very fundamental. Teachers are very fundamental. Teachers are community leaders wherever they are. We involve teachers in this crusade and members of 4th Estate. And we want to take this opportunity to thank you for hosting us today, because this is the voice we need. So with these numbers, we are able to have 4.7 million strong members of Luo community by the time we're hitting 2027. Yes. And this is a number that if you go with the negotiation table, then you can have a better piece of the pie.
Right now, the IEBC, I have a question for Zedwin, but still, I'll ask you this. Yes. Still talking about, because right now, the enhanced continuous voter registration exercise, the IEBC, the electoral body, had projected about 2.5 million as the target for this particular 1 month exercise, right? Within the Lakeside Nyanza, how many have registered within this window?
Thank you very much. We were given a target as the 4 counties of interest that I'm talking about, of Migori, Homa Bay, Kisumu and Siaya, a target of 246,000. Out of 246,000, we have managed as at the data. I wanted to give the data as yesterday, but allow me to do that as Saturday. We have done 162,000 as at end of Saturday. So we're sitting at about 62% as at end of Saturday. We have data for yesterday, which I don't want to speak to because it has not been verified yet. Yes, because it's good to give verified information. And the shocking news, which I want to again emphasize on, that out of the 162,000 that we have registered in the Lakeside region, 100,000 was registered in 21 days. 62,000 was registered in 6 days. I don't know if you're getting it. So had we done the kind of effort we have done in the last 6 days, then I'm telling you we would have done more than 300,000. So this region has potential to achieve more than 200% of the target that we're given of 246,000. Okay. So one of the things that is going on after tomorrow's closure, after closure we'll do analytics, look at the data, look at what worked well that we can replicate, what did we not get right that we eliminate, then continue with what we call continuous voter registration. Yes. And I'm telling you that is the best moment because things are more subtle. It's easy to put better strategy. It's easy to plan. There's no pressure of daily and weekly report from IBC. And that's the time we want to mop all these numbers that we're talking about.
You're very right. You're very right, but because what we've had for the past 1 month or so, that is what we call the enhanced continuous voter registration exercise. Yes. But even as that concludes tomorrow, that's not the end of it. Exactly. This exercise will continue continuously all the way to the as we head up for the 2027. And now it will not be happening only that it won't be enhanced at the ward level. It will be happening at the constituency level. And so for the viewers who may not, we don't encourage you actually to miss out on this. But in case you don't manage to enlist yourself as a voter in this window, this exercise continues. ZB.
Yes.
What is causing apathy, especially in Lakeside Nyanza?
We have a number of reports that we have gotten from what we are doing. Because as I was told you the other day, we have a call center. Sure. And we are trying to reach these people and talk to them. They give a number of reasons. Number one is the actual lack of civic education. So there are people who you call and then they call back and say, hey, I've now registered. I'm now a registered voter. So that's positive. But there are people who have nostalgic about Baba. Okay. So they tell you, tomorrow, are you going to wake up Baba? If you promise me you'll wake up Baba, then I have a reason to vote, to register. Because for him, his motivation was Baba. Raila Odinga. The late. Yes, the late. So, but that's something. So when we make that call and when we talk with the assistant chiefs and Langukumi and everybody, we want them, we must wake up and our beloved Baba is no more. But life has to continue. Yeah. Our children have to go to school. We have to feed our parents. We have to feed our children. The community must continue. So we must align ourselves with the fact that life continues and life goes on. But just to go back to the numbers a bit, you know, when he said that our turnout is not the problem, of course we want a better turnout, but we're at 71% as a community. But then only 2.2 are registered. So it means our community voted about 1.5 million.
Yes.
But if we get to 4.7 and we maintain the 71%, we'll double, more than double the numbers that we put in 2022. So that's a big conversation that we'll have with our people.
Yes.
That gives you a better bargaining chip.
Yes, yeah.
And you said it's not wrong to bargain as a community, yeah?
It's not wrong. Any community should be able to bargain because Kenya belongs to all of us. Yeah. But if you don't have the numbers, then you can't have an excuse of saying that we are many. We are many, but you're not registered.
Is on that part of Raila Odinga factor, because I know it's a big factor in this particular aspect of registration. You've mentioned that we had a 71 actually turnout in the averagely 71% turnout in 2022, and that Raila was alive, and Raila was actually not just alive; he was on the ballot, right? Right now, he's no more. He's not going to be on the ballot. But then again, he's a person that this region cherished for so many decades, right? How do we move on from this, ZB?
What we have, for me, it's number one is civic education. We must talk to our people. The reason that the whole of this week we're engaging the media is because as ZB, I may not reach everybody, but the media talks to the people every day. Sure. The people are watching TV, the people are listening to radio. So that's the advantage we are taking. That even if we cannot go to every village, we tell them the truth and what needs to be done. So that's the effort they're putting into this.
If you allow me also to chip in, is that, we are running a scientific model and we are picking the reasons for various people for not deciding to vote. And 18.7% of the people that we have reached through the call center are talking about Baba as an issue. But it's something that we are giving questions and doing a bit of check on. You can imagine that 18.7 number of people feel demotivated to vote because of Baba is not there. And I think this is an area that our members of our political class can support us. They need to come out, reassure our people that Baba may be out, but the movement, because our people believe in the movement, I can tell you. The reality is that members of this community, most of us, we have been wired. We have lived, we have grown into this movement, we have lived into it. So our people believe in the movement. So members of our political class need to come in and tell people that Canaan, we have been going to Canaan for many years. That Bado, who is the name of the person who's taking people to Moses? Moses hajafika na sisi Canaan. Lakini we have been to the mountaintop, bado tunaenda Canaan. Then people will come because that's how we are wired. Voter registration and the decide to vote is a behavioral attribute. And therefore, you can only change it. Our other scientists, we give scientific models, but we must take behavioral solutions. And one of the things that need to be done is to reassure our people that Moses is not there, but Bado we are on a journey to Canaan.
Still talking, you've brought up a very important aspect of movement, and we're followers of these people from this region are followers of movement. We had an event, a political event in Kisumu yesterday. What do you make of that regarding these mobilizations in terms of voting? Does it play a role, ZB?
It plays a role, but it's not, we cannot say yesterday, what did you achieve? You don't have a way of telling the Kenyans, telling your people what you achieved. The point is, what we are doing today is that I can wake up next week and I tell you that because of certain efforts, we've reached somewhere. And this, to add to what Adhiambo said, what Bernard is saying, is that the politicians must also come into this to tell our people to be able to register. Because I'll give you an example. Probably I come from Mugunja, then come from Dindi Ward. You'll find that many politicians will look at, can I mix Dindi Ward, register more than Mugunja Ward, than Sigombe Ward? You get?
Yeah.
But we must come out of that. We must know that we are doing this for the community. So it's not about me personally, that now I should, like even today, our numbers in Mugunja are not good. Because I didn't come out that it's Mugunja that we are doing it for the community. So I should not come here and camp in Mugunja or camp in Siaya. I'm looking at the interest of the whole community.
Doing it for the community. What does the political class have in this?
They must come out and support the process. Because don't look at your own selfish interests. Because of course everybody must at some point be selfish. That is life. That's how we are wired. But then have that extra momentum for the community, for the people around you. Do something good, not because you are the winner or you are the one going to gain, but because at the end of the day, somebody will remember you. That as a real winner, as Bernard Adhiambo, you stood out for something, yes, and you gave it to the community. Even if you don't gain individually from the effort, but it will be on record that you came out there and fought for the good of the
If you allow
people.
me, Philip, to also chip in on the two questions. One is about yesterday political event and politicians. I'll start with the last one about politicians. The reality is that this exercise has gone the enhanced voter registration, and members of the political class from this region have not done as per expectation.
Okay.
We have done benchmarking with Turkana. Turkana is the leading.
Yes.
Within 2 weeks, they had hit 100%.
Yes.
They're heading towards 160%. Imagine,
Yes,
in
this window.
Turkana are the ones leading
Samburu is
against
number
target. Samburu is number 2. And you can imagine the way Turkana and Samburu are strengthened.
leaders?
Yes.
That's what I want to tell you, is that what has happened in Turkana, because you have to do benchmarking. What we did that we sent a member of the team to go to Turkana and establish why is it working in Turkana and not working in our region. The members of community of Turkana, leaders, community leaders, politicians, everyone has put their political affiliation aside. And people are focused on numbers. Political affiliation discussion will come next. But in our Lakeside region, what happened? The day this exercise was launched is the day we started political bickering about zoning, about who should be sacked, about who should be... And you ask yourself, and Raila Odinga is not there. You know, sometimes I pity members of the political class. And I don't want to be very political from this region. They behave as if Raila Odinga has gone for a safari and will come back to stabilize the ship. They have not woken up that Jacom, with Luo you can say, Jacom Onge. Jacom is no more. I don't know who will help them. If we can put members of political class from this community in a seminar for 1 week, it will help. Just to tell them that Jacom is no more and it is permanent. They are behaving as if Raila is going to come next month to stabilize the ship and bargain and pull euphoria. That was an enigma. You can't replace him. You can't match him. You can't go to the table thinking that Raila is there. So we must be realistic. And number two, I want to talk about what happened yesterday. And I'm happy you brought that question when I told you that members of this community love movement. Naturally, we like opposing. If you go to an organization, myself, I run a factory. We employ about 70 people. Do you know the leadership of the union? It's Luos. If you go to a factory, BAT, we are not the majority. But ukienda shop steward, ni Mjaluo. Civil service.
There's also real for university.
Yes, university student leaders. We are not the majority. Myself, I was the chairman, and I also became Secretary General of SONU, Students University of Nairobi University, during my time. But we are not the majority. Luos are number 5, number 4 sometimes in the places. You go to Kibra, Luos are not the majority, lawyers are the majority. But Luos are the one pushing the narrative. So our members of this community naturally like opposing and pushing systems since 1963, or even before. So what happened in Kisumu is a reflection of who we are. And I want to thank the government for providing peace. Because the government decided to oppose that rally, We'll be talking about injured Luos. We'll talk about businesses that have been messed up. And that's what we want to see. Let people come, we'll say what they want to say. Let's differ on issues.
You're very right about
Let's
that.
differ on issues.
You're very right about that.
Let's avoid violence. So that was a very, very good thing by government to allow a peaceful gathering, because it's only our members of this community that would have been hurt. So I wanted just to emphasize that what happened yesterday is a replica of our behavioral attributes as a community. Yes.
ZB.
Yes.
Bernard mentioned something that myself I was happy about. I've been reporting on political affairs in this region for quite some years now, and what I noticed yesterday is different from what I've been noticing in the all other past meetings. Because if you looked at the atmosphere in the run-up towards yesterday's meeting, there was a little bit of tension.
Yes.
That did not happen. Actually, people thought there would be political confrontations among rival camps. We didn't see that. What does that make you think about this region again?
I think there are two big factors that happened yesterday. Some of us made efforts of telling our people that don't spoil a gathering. It doesn't help us. And some people want to see that side of the Luo community, side of violence, side of everything must be stopped. Allow people to associate. But I think also some of us also talked to the government. We told them, if you come to interfere, just make sure this thing is peaceful. But don't take a side. Because some people thought about that, that Linda Mwananchi is fighting the government, so the government will come out to fight the rally. And that wasn't the situation. The government was able to stand with the people and say that, okay, if Sifuna is coming, Babu is coming, Rayengo is coming, let them talk to the people. It's their right.
How can we tap into this? The numbers again. This development, yesterday's event. Can we tap into it? Can we take advantage of it to drive up the numbers within these days remaining?
First of all, the first win that we have is because the rally went on. That's a win for the community. It means that people see that we are able to accept pluralism, which means people can belong to different political formations and everything else. So it means now going forward to register people, we tell them that we are not our people's enemies. We are not anybody's enemies, but we are friends and we are a community. So that's for me, it's the next step going forward.
Okay.
And talking of numbers again, because you see what we are driving as a team is the logic in numbers and everything. Today, we had some analysis. People talk of terrain of numbers. Turkana is leading today. But if you look at the adult population of Turkana County, it is more than Nyeri County. But in Nyeri County, 63% of the people, of the adult population, are registered voters. In Turkana, we are talking about 43%. So it means even if you have to build up, show up numbers, so that Turkana reaches 63% like Nyeri, they have more numbers than Nyeri. You get it? So for us, this is statistics and figures, so that we debunk tyranny of numbers, because we want to become the tyranny.
And really, if you allow me to chip in also on that,
okay.
and I like the way Engineer ZB is talking the tyranny. The reality is that as a community, we have the numbers. That's the reality. The only thing that we need to do is concerted effort, coordinated synergy, so that as we reach 2027, we are as close as possible to the projected 4.7 million. But I want to talk about what happened yesterday and about behavioral attributes of our people. Is that what happened yesterday tell us that we need political pluralism at the local level. And members of our political class have been pushing for political singularity, what they call, for lack of a better word, zoning.
Yes.
And if there's one enemy of the winning game plan, then it has singularity. And I want to tell you this without fear of contradiction, that with the kind of voter apathy that will be here after the Raila is gone, with the kind of demotivation and lack of morale that will be here after Raila is gone, with the kind of disillusionment that will be here after Raila is gone, that we're already witnessing through the call center research, the only way to make our people to come out and vote in large numbers is stiff competition.
Okay.
And this, what happened yesterday, triggers stiff competition. We want Linda Mwananchi to have candidates. so that people come to vote. But what we want as a community, that we have to have singularity at the top. At the top, we'll be very happy if people compete. Uko mlinda mwananchi lakini uko juu unasema members of Lake Region wameamua wako na so and so. Uko juu. But uko chini, let people compete stiff, that we even achieve over 90% of voter turnout. Because that's the only way we'll be able to stiffen apathy. Or else, if you do zoning, and for example, you say where I come from, for example, Alego Usonga, and my good friend, Honorable Samatandi, has done a good job. He's very popular. I wonder why he is very strong on zoning. You allow that Atandi is the only candidate. You'll be surprised that less than 40% people will come to make him win. We'll win the MP, but at the top, we'll be asked Mlileta nini. So when the pie is being divided, Tabua Jaluo Mlileta kura milioni moja peke yake. So pluralism is very, very important, and we are going to push for it. We have been advocating for it. After this exercise, we'll come out and we'll again request the members of Fourth Estate to help us to push the information out there.
Before I give you a minute to pass your call to action to our viewers, actually, and also to members of this community, and we have a culture of last-minute trash. Do you think, what do you see between today and tomorrow? I'll start with you.
I think the highest will come in tomorrow.
Yes.
The second highest number will come in today. Okay. So tomorrow will be bigger. But you see, there's a joke when I went to Gunja 2 weeks ago. There's a joke about, I was talking to opinion leaders and all. They said that people expect that some goodies will come from some politicians or some people who want to be in government. Yes. Yeah. So these guys are saying, if I take the vote today, this food might come tomorrow. And then if I have the vote, I cannot line up there. Because the goodies is being given to the people who are registering. So the people who are still watching, our people who are watching, that I'm going to register, but can I get something? It is the reality. We can't run away from it. So I'm seeing the second highest numbers today. The highest numbers will come in tomorrow. And I think we'll be able to share with you the data. And we'll give you the graph of how this thing has progressed, so that we can be able to judge the future based on the reality of what has happened over the last 1 month.
That's very great. Can you speak a message to the potential voters? Those that have IDs, they haven't registered as voters, and adults that are over 18 years now, they don't have IDs, they don't have voters cards. Speak a message to them.
What I want to tell you guys, and I said this when I started the conversation today, it is that is your power. As an individual, when you're over 18, the ID is a power. And it's a power that you need to use to even travel. Actually, with an ID, you can go to Uganda, you can go to Burundi, you can go to Rwanda. Without a passport, the ID will enable you to move on. Today, we have the universal healthcare. Sure. Without the ID, you cannot be able to register for it. So even if I wanted to support you in terms to manage your health, because sometimes the best thing you can give to your people is also to secure them. So I can say that at Wycliffe, I'll pay you for the year for healthcare. But it is an ID for you to be able to enjoy that. So that our people must realize that that's the power we have. Registration as a voter is the power you have as an individual. Because I don't want to see a situation where people are complaining about the government, the MCA, the MP, but you don't have the voter. So you cannot vote. And then you complain about the performance of the people. You have the power to determine who comes into power.
The ID, the voter card gives them that power to do that, exactly. Yes. Bernard, your parting shot?
Thank you so much. I want to say that from the research we have done in this community, they are very shocking information. That we have members of this community who are over 50. They don't have the ID. We have members of this community, leave alone ID, who have taken their children to school. They have schooled their children through secondary school and primary, and they've never had a bank account. a member of Luo community who is respected down in the village and has never, ever had a bank account. So this community, to be honest with you, we have been neglected. If you go to other places, and we have traveled locally, if you go to other places, a place like where I come from, Barding, should have a bank. Even 3 branches of bank. if you go to other regions. But we have been left behind in the community view of this country. Therefore, based on this data that you found out, and which we could have more time to discuss these issues, and I really want to thank you. Number one, I want to request our people, those who have ID and don't have voters card, to register, irrespective of whoever you support. At this time, first of all, have the power to decide. Decide who governs you, decide who does not govern you. Number two, those who have not taken ID, the government has come down, has made no fee to register ID. The government has done outreach programs in this region. Let's take advantage of that to register a large number. And there's a lot of fast tracking be done, the idea coming back faster. Once you have your ID, the first thing when you collect your ID, walk to the nearest IEBC center and register. When we have the numbers, then we can negotiate as a community. That's when we can have roads, that's when we can have hospitals, that's when we can have teachers in our schools. In this country, the way this country is wired, it is numbers that speaks, numbers that negotiate, numbers that elevate, numbers that brings development. Therefore, let us have the numbers.
The numbers. And that is where we put a cap on our conversation this morning on this whole aspect of voter registration, an exercise, actually the enhanced continuous voter registration exercise that we've been having for the last 27 or 8 days for now, because it's an exercise that ends concludes tomorrow. And you've heard my guest very right, because this community is looking into an extrapolated figure of about 4.4 potential voters going into 2027. Why would you want to miss to be part of that number? That is conversation that we've been having here. And remember, the enhanced continuous voter registration exercise ends tomorrow, but that should not leave you behind. This exercise, I mean, the continuous voter registration will continue at the constituency level. So get your ID. If you don't have one, get your ID, walk into the constituency office, get enlisted as a voter, because that gives you the power actually to put the person you want into that office, so that you don't complain about the services going in, after the 2027 general election. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for availing time for us to have the conversation with you. I wish we could have much more time for this, but then again, there is a lot that is going on in the country, and like you've just seen, we have the Connected Africa Summit 2026 that is underway in Nairobi, and that's a conversation that brings together players within the digital space actually to talk about how Africa can come together, can leverage technology actually to unite as a continent. Well, my name is Wycliffe Okech. We want to end this conversation here from Lakeside Kisumu. And remember, I'll still remind you, we are having this conversation from Mirage Palace here in Kisumu. And so that means if you are in Kisumu for whatever reason, you may want to pass by and sample some of the services or other facilities that they have as a way to promote them, just like they've accorded us this space actually to have this conversation for the benefit of our people.